Okay, so I'm gonna bundle a bunch of these next ingredients together just because I didn't figure it was worth making a video about each ingredient. But most of these you've probably heard that they're bad for your body. Like in diet culture, this information circulates, but nobody really ever tells you what it does to your body. And it's hard to know what to believe because diet culture will also tell you that calories and cholesterol are bad for you and that you shouldn't eat red meat or butter. So, from real, actual medical studies, information. Also, if you're already on the path to getting rid of the seed oils, a lot of these will just kind of fall into place with it, but it's also things that you need to watch out for. Because if you're like, this doesn't have canola oil in it, well, it may still have some of these other ingredients and not actually be as healthy as you might think it is. High fructose corn syrup, we've all heard how bad it is. First of all, just let me say that sugar itself has been demonized so hard, but every replacement that they come out with for sugar is 10 times worse because it's made with chemicals. If you buy real cane sugar and it hasn't been bleached and overprocessed, it is at least from a plant, like it's from the earth, and your body knows how to use it. An overload of it is still not healthy, but it's better than high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweetener. But when high fructose corn syrup first came out, they were trying to convince people that it was equal to sugar, that it had no harmful effects on your body, metabolize it the same way you do sugar, which is 10,000% not true. Fructose, which literally means the sugar from fruit, your liver knows how to process it and what to do with it. When your body intakes fructose through natural sources like actual fruit, you eat an apple, there's also fiber, antioxidants, like other things that work with the fructose to be beneficial to your body. When you have high fructose corn syrup, along with all of these other things that are horrible for you in all the prepackaged foods, it's a huge amount that goes straight to your liver. Your liver's like, I don't know what to do with this. So it automatically turns the excess fructose straight into fat in your body. It stores it because it doesn't know how to process and eliminate. So let's talk about what it does to your body. Of course, it's huge on inflammation, and so if you're already in an overload of seed oils, high fructose corn syrup just elevates that even worse. It also plays a weird trick on your digestive hormones, like the hormone that sends a signal to your brain telling yourself that you're full doesn't get clicked on, and the hungry hormone doesn't get clicked off. Your hunger hormones are backwards. Every time you're intaking high fructose corn syrup, it's just like messing up your ability to know when you're full. So you either overeat or you eat your meal and you don't feel satisfied. It can also cause fatty liver, even if you don't drink alcohol. The high fructose corn syrup messes with your insulin. It can also produce uric acid, which in turn raises your blood pressure. And all of these, like this cluster of side effects, altogether is what doctors refer to as metabolic syndrome. And again, it can be hidden behind other names besides just high fructose corn syrup, because once it started getting a bad reputation for being unhealthy, they had to find ways to still legally include it on the label but make it not sound that bad. They literally can label it as fruit sugar, and you would think that that's the healthiest version of sugar you could have, but it's just a cover-up name for high fructose corn syrup, which is, again, infuriating. Corn syrup solids, fructose syrup, it's all literally the same thing. I think the most frustrating part is that a lot of these terrible chemical ingredients are found in things that are labeled healthy. Like our diet culture society says that salad is the healthiest menu item you could have, like especially if you're going out to eat or something. It's incredibly backwards from the truth. Salad dressing is filled with seed oils, high fructose corn syrup, MSG, natural flavors, which sounds like it would be, you know, powdered herbs or things that come from natural sources, and it's absolutely not true. Natural flavors is another blanket term for whatever ingredients they would like to hide. And they can get away with it legally because it's part of their like secret sauce that keeps their competitors from finding out what ingredients they use to make those flavors. So let's go ahead and move to MSG, monosodium glutamate, which again was in diet culture one of those things that we were told to stay away from, but nobody really ever said what it does or why it's bad. And it can also be hidden behind a lot of different names. The natural flavoring, seasoning, or spices, if they're not specifically listed what spices it is, it's probably MSG. Hydrolyzed soy protein, calcium caseinate. I can put together a list of hidden ingredients eventually and make it downloadable for you. But yeast extract, autolyzed yeast, textured protein, I mean, it has so many weird random names that... So let's talk about what it does to your body. It overstimulates your nerve cells, particularly in the brain. So when there's too much MSG, which, you know, glutamate is naturally found in food. It is something your body can process, but this chemically processed form of glutamate is not something your body knows what to do with. Once again, it causes inflammation and oxidative stress. Like it's just deteriorating our bodies a little bit at a time. People can experience headaches, heart palpitations, fatigue, dizziness, mood swings, especially if you're already prone to inflammation or blood sugar imbalances, hormonal imbalances. Like, it affects and makes all of those things worse. Also, I've found that like if you can keep your body away from it for a while, most of these ingredients, you know, diet culture has you thinking that to eat healthy you need bland foods, but truthfully, once you get used to not having all those chemical toxins in your body, real food starts to taste so much better. Like, it tastes richer and it's giving your body what it needs to not just survive and hang on, but to like actually produce and be, you know, have energy and your hormones be level, like where they should be. Okay, so we already talked about artificial sweeteners, kind of goes along with high fructose corn syrup. May worsen your glucose control, headaches, anxiety, brain fog, and keeps you from realizing when you're hungry or when you're full. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, Splenda, found in diet or zero pops, flavored waters, protein powders, gum, yogurt, which is supposed to be good for your gut, refined grains, which if you buy flour in the store, all of it pretty much says enriched, which is another word for refined. I have started buying unbleached flour, but I've had trouble finding unbleached, non-enriched flour. It's stripped of the fiber and nutrients that would naturally come in wheat. So by the time your body digests it, it basically turns it into sugar. It's not actually the fiber that it should be. Spikes your blood sugar and insulin, encourages fat storage, and energy crashes. Industrial trans fats has technically been banned, but it's still showing up in some ultra-processed, like prepackaged stuff. Sometimes it's hidden under the name partially hydrogenated oils or shortenings, which once again kind of goes back to the whole seed oil thing. It damages your arteries, increased risk of heart disease, very inflammatory. Preservatives and additives. I mean, there are some naturally occurring preservatives, but for the most part, your food is supposed to rot. It's not, you know, it's not meant to be shelf stable. You harvest and eat what you need, but some of the chemically produced preservatives like sodium benzoate plus vitamin C is a literal carcinogen. Neurological effects, hormone disruption. I don't know, the fresher, more raw ingredients you can find, the better off you'll be. There's also synthetic vitamins listed on a lot of things, which I'll make a whole separate video about that because It's a big deal. Your body doesn't know how to use those vitamins because they're fake. And then emulsifiers and texture agents damage your gut lining and lead to bloating and IBS and inflammation. Usually are under the name like polysorbate 80, soy lecithin. We've already kind of talked about a little bit of that, but again, found in salad dressings, ice cream, dipping sauces, milk alternatives. Can damage your gut lining and feed the bad bacteria, which leads to bloating and IBS symptoms and more inflammation. And the last one, which is by far not the least important, food dye, which, you know, has been circulating recently as being harmful to your body, mainly when it comes to kids, which is true. You know, kids' bodies get an overload of colored pop and Gatorade and fruit snacks and all kinds of things. Everything is colored to be more attractive to the child, and it's extremely toxic. Artificial food colorings are once again petroleum-based chemicals made from the same crude oil derivatives that are used for plastic and fuel. They have zero nutritional value. They don't affect the taste. It's literally just eye-catching for children. Things like Red 40, Yellow 5, all that shit. So they don't just stay in the gut. They disrupt your actual brain and nervous system. Leads to hyperactivity, attention problems. You know, most of the world these days has or claims to have ADHD. And it seems to only be getting, I feel like, you know, back in the day it was kind of rare, and now it's almost everyone has it. It causes also irritability, mood swings, aggression, poor sleep cycles, headaches, migraines, allergic reactions, neuroinflammation. Keeps these kids from being able to focus and pay attention. And it's so sad because, you know, we shove them in a classroom for 8 hours a day and they're being force-fed nasty food dyes and harmful chemicals. Okay, so that's pretty much all for the food ingredients. Next, we'll kind of dive into vitamins and minerals and hormones. All right, love you, bye.